Hello, my beautiful, wonderful friends. Today we are going to be doing something super special with the apples that we got at the orchard. We are going to be making some delicious, warm apple muffins. And these are super easy, so you can follow along or just watch. They are made with some fresh apples, some chickpea flour, some almond flour, and a bunch of other awesome ingredients. Without further ado, let's get started. But first, we need to wash our hands. For apples, it does not matter what type you use. You can use whatever type you like because these muffins are for you. But if you are making them for someone and they do like a specific type of apple, I'd go with that. First thing we need to do is wash these apples. And you're gonna need around 4 of them. Now with our apples washed and ready for later, we can start with our wonderful chickpeas or garbanzo beans. And you're gonna need a can. You can always soak and cook chickpeas at your own home, but it's easiest to get the aquafaba, which is the juice from the beans, from the can. So that's what I'm doing today. And I will show you how to get aquafaba from home cooked beans at another point. But today we are going to use this for the sake of simplicity. So you're just gonna wanna open this can. And any brand will work. And you are just going to hold the lid ever so loosely to make sure that none of the chickpeas get in there. And then you're gonna wanna put these in some sort of food container and put them in the fridge because you can do so many things with them. And I will definitely be showing you a really fun, quick and easy recipe really soon. But for now, we are just going to get our mixer. You can use a whisk if you'd like, but I'm going to be using a mixer like this. So it has the attached whisks. You can use whichever type you want. I'm using these, and we are just going to whisk this until it becomes fluffy. So we're gonna be doing this on whatever your medium setting is, and if you're using your hands, just go pretty fast. So now that that's all nice and fluffy at the peaks, we are going to be making a homemade buttermilk, which uses any sort of vinegar that you want, as well as some non-dairy milk. So into a smallish bowl, we're going to be putting 2/3 of a cup of this, and this is a half cup, so I'm just gonna do a little bit more than a half, but probably around a full one, and then like this much. So we're gonna put that in there. There we go. And then I'm gonna use apple cider. So for this, we are only going to be needing 2 teaspoons. Adapt. See how easy that was? Awesome. I love this thing. I have no idea what it's called, but I love it. And that is gonna be 4 of these, which is a half teaspoon, but if you have a teaspoon measuring thing, definitely use that. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect, and we are going to let that sit while we put together the rest of the muffins. So while that's sitting and while we have our chickpea foam over there, we're gonna start with the dry ingredients first. We're gonna start off with 2 1/3 cup of chickpea flour. Got it right here. And we're gonna measure out 2 of these plus 1/3 of these. So we are just gonna spoon this in here and keep shaking it out to level it. You wanna break up any of those big pieces in there. So that's about a cup. And then we're gonna do that one more time and with a third. Next, we're going to use 3/4 of a cup of almond flour. Last but not least, we're gonna need a 1/4 cup of arrowroot powder. So all we're gonna do is fill this 1/4 of the way up. Those are our main dry ingredients. We will be using baking powder and cinnamon and things like that, but this is the bulk of the stuff. And we're just going to take our spoon that we used, if you used one, if you didn't get one, and kind of break up all of those clumps in here because you want it to be pretty mixed together. There is one more important ingredient, which is baking powder, and we're gonna add a tablespoon of this. There we go. And we're just gonna mix that in so it is all distributed throughout. And we wanna try to get any of these huge clumps out. The teeny tiny clumps will usually resolve themselves in a recipe like this, although I would recommend sifting for a lot of different recipes. So we're just gonna work all of these clumps out until it is nice and uniform. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. Just a teeny tiny amount like that. And with that salt, we are also going to be adding cinnamon, and that is our final dry ingredient. Now for me, I don't really measure this part, I just kind of pour some in. It depends on how much cinnamon you like. I like a lot of cinnamon, so I'm going with a lot of cinnamon. So the first wet ingredient we're gonna add is this buttermilk that we made, and we're just gonna start pouring it in slowly. And we're just gonna use whatever whisk we have on hand. I am using this one today. And you're just gonna keep pouring it in as you mix. And now we're gonna gently start folding in this beautiful chickpea foam mixture. So we're gonna do a little bit at a time. Just gonna start putting that in there. For our final liquid ingredient, we're going to be putting in 1 cup of honey. But if you are strictly not eating honey, or you would rather use maple syrup, that is a perfectly fine alternative, and it will taste just as delicious. So I'm going to do 2 of these because this is going to smell so good in the oven. And the next thing we're going to add is vanilla extract, and I just like to eyeball it. I like my stuff with a lot of vanilla, but you can definitely add yours to taste, and we're just gonna stir that in. So now it is finally time to add the apples. So we're gonna be taking the apples and we are just gonna start grating them. I'm using this side of the grater. We're just gonna start getting all of that apple goodness grated up. Before you add in every handful, you're gonna wanna squeeze it out. And you can squeeze it out into a cup because you just made fresh apple juice. Cheers. That's fresh. Now that we have our mixture completely made, we can get out our lovely muffin tins, which I have lined with the silicone cupcake liners because it definitely helps clean up, and I don't like using the paper ones. I think that you have to throw away them all the time. I think with the paper ones, it just creates a little bit more waste, so I like using these because they can just be used over and over and over again. Before we start filling these up, I'm going to preheat the oven to 350. And now we can start filling. now that these are going to be in the oven, we're going to bake them for about 45 minutes or until they're nice and golden on top. I'll see you soon. And they are all done. These smell so amazing, so cinnamony, and I cannot wait to try them. All right, let's see how this is. And these pop out so easily. These are so incredibly delicious. They have an absolutely beautiful texture on the inside. They are very soft and just wonderful. I am so overjoyed that I got to use those beautiful apples that I picked at the orchard, and I cannot wait to show you the rest of all of the wonderful ways that I plan on using them. Thank you so much for joining me today and baking these delicious muffins together. And I really hope that you enjoyed it just as much as I did. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you today, but I hope to see you very soon. And I hope that you have a day just as beautiful as you are. All right, friends. Bye.